which is very German.
Hey, listen. He was the most non-French looking guy in the assembly. I'm like, you're not French, you're German. Like, if he had brown hair, maybe, just maybe. But he looked Franco-Norman, Latin-Roman mix. You know.
Okay.
Those, ladies and gentlemen, this is JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
This is going to be our spoilers review of Andor Season 2, Episode 4 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much to talk about. Big shout out to our 60 subscribers. Zach Miller does movie, music, trenchcoat, Kayla Marie, Jasmine, Russian ID, and Void a Parrot, Scott Walker, and ZZ. Did I forget anybody? Maybe some. But here we go. So, Won-Jin, I assume that there were things that I liked and didn't like about these 3 episodes.
Okay. Let's start with the ones you didn't like. What didn't you like about it?
Oh, welcome back, Burping Joe. That is the new name, by the way. Thank you, ZZ. As a arc, because I assume they're going to release 3 episodes every week, and I think they want us to assume that it's a story arc. As an arc, I felt like this was weaker than the first arc. Like the first 3 episodes. I felt like these 3 episodes were weaker in a way. And another thing I didn't like was the 1-year jump.
Oh,
in the beginning, that was not a good impression on me. Because now I'm worried about whether they're going to do more jumps. Like what's happening.
Because I don't think that happened in the first season.
Well, this one's going to be contentious. Yeah, Void, and his name and his shows can be JB. So right off the bat, if I give a score to these 3 episodes, it's going to be lesser than the first 3. But there were elements that I did enjoy. But it's a slow burn, first of all. It's a sudden, slow burn. I felt like the first 3 were more dynamic, more quick. Not that there's a problem with the 4-6. I think this is what happens when you have an assemble cast. But my favorite parts were honestly Syril and Dedra. Like Black Widow mother using his suckling boyfriend who wants approval so bad that he has 2 mothers. And when Kyburn praised him and said, "This is the best day of my life," I was like, "You poor boy." Like there were elements like that. But you know what carried it? The acting and the dialogue is still so effing strong.
I agree. Although, I would still consider these 3 episodes on par with the first 3.
Oh,
because
really?
The first 3 wasn't, in my opinion, I mean, yes, they were good, but they weren't stellar. Because remember, we had those, like, idiot...
the Lord of the Flies boys.
Lord of the Flies stuff. So I didn't know where that was going. But this one, I liked it especially because it dealt with what Andor did best in the first season. This espionage shit. Because this is like a break from the regular Star Wars we have with the Jedis and the evil and blah, 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 blah. This is very, very industrial espionage kind of stuff. This is like resistance, like World War II stuff. So I love how like even the espionage, this deceptive play from both sides. I love how like intricate they are. Because usually the simple version would be like the rebellion plotting against the Empire who has no idea. But actually, the Empire knows fucking everything.
Yo, but Won-Jin.
And then we see them falling into a trap.
Yo, but Won-Jin. I just imagined Darth Vader arriving on ship on Gorman, like space friends, revolution.
And remind us how insignificant they are.
Yes!
2 seconds.
Like, is this your silly plan? And just crush your neck, and then gather all the Imperial officers at once and saying like, "F this, hurry the hell up!" Like that did occur to me though, because remember this is part of the Star Wars universe.
I feel like this inefficiency disturbs me.
Yes, your faith is non-existent, and because the reason why. Oh, but I did like how they played with that though, because let me flip the perspective a little. Because when the ISB, which Dedra is a member of, do all these conniving and trickery, and even Andor says like spreading misinformation is their strong suit. It did make me think of levels of evil though, because like I have a question, Won-Jin. Do you think these ISB officers actually know what Darth Vader and the Emperor Palpatine, who they actually are? Like how evil they are? Like,
I doubt it because they just feel like regular folks with a job.
No, because we seen Krennic get choked by Vader and Darth Vader, but that did remind me of because it's hierarchy, right? Like how many of these like bureaucrats who seem like Nazi officers getting ordered to like this way to the gas chamber, right? But if they knew how evil their like emperor
actually was,
yeah, don't you think they would be horrified?
Maybe. And I guess that's why they don't like show Vader and Palpatine in this show. Because,
not yet.
Yeah, because it's in the perspective of these people basically running these gears of the Empire.
Right.
That's what made Andor so special in the first season, because we got to see this daily bureaucracy side of the Empire, which was very fresh.
Void, I think this arc was way better than the first, and I also didn't like the jump. And Void, another problem I had with was the ending. I felt like there was a huge tone shift where, because if they didn't do the Bricks killing Dr. Gorst, his name I think is Gorst, the one who did the torture.
Bix, not Bricks. Bix.
Okay, Bix like killing Dr. Gorst, right? I didn't like that at all. I felt like it was kind of like a Disney bonus at the end.
I agree with that. That was so sudden. And that kind of killed all that buildup of something like terrible is about to happen kind of feeling with Bix taking those drugs and everything. That just kind of relieved all that. Why were they building that up in the first place? Because I was hoping that something, well, not hoping, but I was expecting something tragic to happen to Bix, and consequently, like, this would also shake Cassian in his foundation.
Yeah, like, I agree, because I felt like that was a very different tone from, because remember, Won-Jin, even in Andor Season 1, remember, like, Andor's like foster mother dies. Like this is kind of a show where there isn't much satisfaction. And remember, even like Luthen, like there's so much double speak in the show, right? I felt like he was threatening Andor that he might like off Bix, and suddenly like Bix gets this like revenge relief, like when her face, like she looks at Andor like, oh my god, that was like, I was panting that up.
Even towards the end, I was like expecting that maybe this is a dream that Bix is having after taking those drugs. But it turns out that actually happened. I'm like, okay.
But at the same time, I cannot but forgive this show because of the artifact tour scene was amazing.
And one thing I really liked about this arc is it's the focus on Kleya. Was that her name?
Yeah.
I always thought she deserved more spotlight in the season.
She's hot. She
was so badass in this. Like
no, she's hot. Look at that! Like look at that double like mountain hairstyle. She was hot as F. And even the book touching, this is when blindness was a gift, and Krennic making that stupid joke. Oh, I know some people who would be home there, and it was just like the blood coming out of her hand. That's what we come for Andor for.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful scene,
and that was a great building of character. We now know how like super freaking committed she is to the cause. I also love her like argument with Luthen. It's like they're playing that blame game, and we don't expect that from Luthen, but we can see how big his pressure. I mean, how tremendous the pressure is weighing down on him.
Yeah, it is,
because he wouldn't say something so like.
No, but it I think Skarsgård is a great actor in that sense because it didn't seem out of character. It was like real pressure because you got to remember these people are paranoid. Mm-hmm. And another great scene was wait.
Let's plant this listening device that would lead right back to us.
Yeah. And another beautiful moment for me that felt like it was a surprise, but it was the Andor that I feel like I know was when Mon
Mothma?
When Mon Mothma's sister loses her girlfriend.
Like Val, that's her name. Val?
No, when Val died.
Not Val. Val loses her girlfriend.
Yeah.
I forgot her name.
When Val sees her lover die, that made complete sense to me. Mm-hmm. This was the kind of universe I knew, like where stupid mistakes lead to like dumb casualties like that. And that powerful moment in the car, remember? She'll be.
Don't you dare cry.
Yeah.
She'll be mourned in ways you will never understand. She was a warrior.
And you know that made me sad because that reminded me a lot of Braveheart.
Mm-hmm. That was a very good dialogue, by the way.
No, but
if I were the scriptwriter, I would just like write down like Vel chokes the idiot and beats the shit out of him.
No, but that
out of frustration.
No, but Won-Jin, here's the thing. That poor boy, I have a feeling that his forever is gonna be real short. Because a spider is the symbolism here. Mm-hmm. Plans within plans within plans, webs within webs within webs. Won-Jin, who are we seeing? Every Luthen is weaving a web. The Empire is weaving a web. You feel like these innocent French, like revolution, they're all gonna die. None of them are surviving. And here's another thing.
And that's what I enjoy so much about watching this arc because, like I said, we know that they're walking into a trap. Just like, you said spider is a symbolism. Just like walking straight into that web.
No, but here's another hint, though. The trap is not a trap when Luthen says, maybe I want the fire to burn. So them dying might become the catalyst of the
bigger rebellion, you mean?
See, because we know the future, so we know that it's going to... If there's a sacrifice here, we know it's going to be like a fertilizer for something in the future.
And it's a very bad foreshadow that there's that they mentioned that memorial to commemorate the death of those citizens in the middle of the city. So that's I think also a very, very ominous foreshadow of what's about to happen to these people.
And it's not just that, though. Another sad part is, the sad thing about the Gorman people is that they're like, you know how Syril was so happy to get a binocular and watch like the Gormans, right? But I get a omnipresent view, right? Because I know the future. I was like, Syril, do you know that your wife is using you, and Qyburn is using your wife, and Krennic is using Qyburn, and Darth Vader is using Krennic. And
I just, like, unconsciously, I was thinking that his character name was actually Qyburn.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, though.
Yeah. Pasgats or something. No, but here's the mirror image. Luthen is using Andor. Andor knows he's being used. But he still goes... I feel like he's going to go back to that planet. And those French... I'm sorry, like Gorman...
The fake French.
Okay, the space French... You're gonna be used too, and that's what's so adult about this show. And that's why when Syril said to Dedra, "This is the happiest day of my life," I was like, "My man, approve yourself. Don't get approved." And
I blame his mother.
Yeah.
It's all because of his mother.
All I got from that scene was Senator Mon Mothma is way too brazen or edgy, for lack of better words. She was pushing and arguing with Admiral of... No, but Void, I feel different about that. It just shows how desperate she is.
Or I think it also kind of shows us their pre-established relationship. I don't think she likes him very much.
You don't think so?
So basically they're secretly insulting each other without saying it. I think it's funny that the planet that produces fabric and is a fashion hub is inhabited by French speakers. And I don't think it's even French. It's like fake French. I think that's like a made-up language designed to sound like French. His name made me think of peanuts. Are those peanuts? Okay. But whose name? Krennic? I don't know. But so far, it's been very good 6 episodes, and I don't know what Joe might feel, but releasing these like 3 episodes all together, I think it's like a better experience than having like an episode drop at a time. Because like you said, these are like mini arcs within a bigger arc.
Yeah. I think it's funny that the planet that produces fabric and is fashioned up is led by French speakers. No, it's like it's called irony. His name made me think of Peanuts. Yes, Peanuts. That guy that we didn't like that you were talking about before. No, but Krennic is I can't wait to see him like meet like Vader and Emperor. No, but Krennic, it was a fascinating villain in the sense that he was such a the banality of evil, how normal evil is in a, because in an evil system, like Krennic is what Sybil thinks he is, because Sybil is just trying to rise up the ranks. He wants to get praised by his mother and like climb the ladder, right? But the ladder is fucked up. Remember that kid that says, like, he tells Qyburn, "Oh, I thank you for this assignment." Qyburn said, "Huh, that's a."
Let's slow down with your enthusiasm.
Yeah, and he's like, "What the fuck did I say?" But every person who ever worked in a big conglomerate is like going like, "That's me." Like so.
Yeah. Overly enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And I especially like the conversation between Krennic and Mon Mothma about the artifact, because they have very different interpretation of what happened. Like you said, it's a banality of evil. It kind of shows us how different their interpretation is over a genocide.
Well, here's the thing though, Won-Jin. You know what I like about Andor? It's never judgy. And I think that's why Star Wars fans enjoy Andor the most. Because other Star Wars show has been kind of judgy with that acolyte stuff. And I feel like...
And, I kind of just let things flow within the Star Wars universe. Whenever, like, something that's not explained shows up, I just kind of, okay, maybe that's it. I don't really question things, but I cannot help but question, if this is an empire and basically the emperor has his evil plans and he can do anything, why the fuck do they have a senate? Just get rid of it.
No, that's...
Why even pretend when you're a Nazi?
No, Won-Jin, I'm so sorry, but you're completely wrong there.
Why?
That's a misconception. Like, the facade matters the most.
No, just get rid of them.
If you admit...
And fill the room with sycophants and people who take commands.
This is why Won-Jin is amateur. Without the hypocrisy, the whole things fall apart. That's the whole point of Empire. That's why Augustus didn't get rid of the Senate. You have to at least give people breathing room, or at least give them the feeling of power. Because if you look at the prequel trilogy, you know where Palpatine is coming from. This is a man who understands system and society very well. And here, that's why New Hope is so badass, because justice doesn't have connivance at all. It's fuck you in the face and cut you down with a Jedi sword. But evil by its very nature, because remember, Satan says, I'm hiding all the time, I'm tricking. Why keep this system? Right? And that's the evil of Palpatine. It makes people like Syril, the bottom, he's like Kafka working at the bank. He thinks what he does matter. Well, not Kafka, because Kafka didn't think that way. But I'm saying, you gotta make them feel like they matter. That is less expensive.
You matter because you're loyal to the Emperor.
No, listen, Won-Jin. That is less expensive than a mother hyena telling your baby hyena you're fucking nothing. Like, it's better to tell them that you're something and then keep the peace going. And besides, Oh, another theme of Andor's is secrets within secrets within secrets. Luthen doesn't tell his entire plan to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, that's exactly what the Empire's doing.
And remember, we also have the Forest Whitaker character playing like a major head of the rebel. And like Luthen, he also keeps his cards very close to his chest.
Yo, that scene was what'd you think about that was the episode 5 ending, right? That should have been the ending, I felt. Like of this arc
because that was a chilling moment because he was basically expendable in the eyes of a rebel leader.
No, but it was also it's kind of like that Dune you just
what?
He's a junkie. He can't help himself. And what does it take to bring down the Empire as evil as the Palpatines?
You gotta go nuts.
Yeah, because isn't this what Dark Knight was saying? Escalation, de-escalation. Because Batman was so ruthless in killing the crime, you are responsible for bringing an evil like Joker. Now here, the moral and ethics stance is different. But if you're facing an evil emperor like Palpatine's, it makes complete sense that like the rebel leader is insane.
Just or even more insane.
No, you know how sad it is for him to like every tool that he uses. Because Whitaker's character is amazing in this series, unlike fucking Havok, fucking trash. I'm sorry.
I was making the same comparison because we see them back to back.
Yeah, because
in that movie and then in Andor,
you get an actor like Whitaker, you give him good lines, and here Whitaker delivered where he's completely paranoid, like the Emperor is,
and he has the right to be because we saw what happened. He's got rats.
And what's so sad about it is his total, because this is a level where like this is the kind of crazy that is really sympathetic because I can't tell whether he's a narcissist or like a humanist. He's got because he's really self-absorbed, but at the same time he's like Jungian, like Carl Jung's version of Luthen's actual mind. Because Luthen is calm and composed, right? Like how the Empire presents itself. But Whitaker's character is what's actually going on through his head. Except you know why Whitaker works? Because he has no filter. Look at him. Like he's like...
You can tell him from the appearance, but I wonder because, like you said, we have like an omnipresent view of everything. We know what happens in the future, and we know. I mean, sometimes Forest Whitaker's character in Andor could come off as being somewhat obnoxious, but we can forgive that because we know what kind of sacrifice he makes in Rogue One.
No, and he's a hidden ego of Luthen. He's what Luthen's going through in actual head.
So it makes me kind of wonder because I don't think we've seen Luthen in Rogue One, have we? Do we see Luthen? So it kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen to Luthen.
Oh, you sweet summer child! Didn't we talk about this 2 weeks ago? He's gonna die.
But how? That's the question because Forest Whitaker went out like a badass, even in the end.
I feel like Luthen's death is gonna be pathetic.
Maybe Val's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also like a foreshadow to what's coming next.
Yeah. What did this show tell us?
Maybe he's gonna die like a rat
Won-Jin.
from some robbery or
Won-Jin.
something.
Human life doesn't matter unless your name is Andor here. I never seen you guys before. You're all expendable. Wait. Cassian made the right call on Gorman, which is refreshing, and it shows not everyone is on board with bad decision, and those who are like, no, but see, Void, Luthen disagrees with you because Luthen sees the bigger picture. He's like MacArthur trying to nuke Beijing. Like he wants the fire to start. Like Bane and Dark Knight. That's why he's insane. And you know why Skarsgård acting works is because he pretends he's a normal person. Unlike Whitaker, who totally embraces his crazy.
And it was refreshing for me to see Andor make that decision to just walk away and make that judgment. Because I think that's what he still needs to eventually lose and overcome in order to be the Andor we see in Rogue One.
See, but that's why this arc was weak, because it was more predictable than the first arc. Because Won-Jin, honest question, don't you think he's going to go back to Gorman and try to help them? Because the way the story is going? No?
I don't know. Because
That's how I felt.
they already sent Vel there.
Well,
so I'm
Vel
not
is
exactly
not going to
sure.
be enough, because this show is called Andor, and I feel like Andor is going to go back to Gorman and help them out. So it was more predictable that way, I felt.
I'm just thinking that maybe something bad will still happen to Bix.
Before he goes to Gorman. No, my guess is this. Bix is going to go to Gorman, because remember the ending of episode 6, we're going to be together? Well, Luthen wants you guys to help Val and start the revolution, and I feel like Bix is gonna die there. That's how I feel. And hey, if the show surprises me, I'll be surprised, because there's no right and wrong answer here.
And since Cassian Andor and Syril, they know each other's faces, right?
Who?
I mean, Syril knows what Andor looks like.
Yeah.
But does Cassian know what Syril looks like?
I don't think Cassian
Did
knows
they see
Syril
each other
exists.
in the
No.
first season?
I can't remember.
Because Syril, he's on the planet, so he's gonna recognize him.
Now that you mentioned Syril, I bet my bottom dollar Cyril's gonna die.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, the only person I'm confident that is gonna die in this show, except Andor, who's not gonna die, but it's Syril. And I feel like Dedra is gonna have her human moment when she realizes that she loves Syril more than she admitted. I think because by the way, turn off the lights, that scene was amazing.
We only have 1 hour.
Dedra is a badass woman. She probably did the mama treatment for Syril. And I know Cyril's gonna die because in Andor, if you're innocent, you're not gonna survive. Avoid. If Luthen dies, who will the Empire at least buy antique artifacts from? No, but don't they hint that they buy more from other people as well besides Luthen? So maybe.
I mean, even without Luthen, the shop still has what's her name, Kleya. They still have Kleya.
So let's give a number grade, man.
I would give these 3 episodes a combined 8.5.
What'd you give in the first 3?
I forgot. Maybe it was like a 9. Did I give a 9?
I don't remember either.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I think it was pretty good.
So since you said 8.5, I want to thank you, because I'm about to give a score of 7.5.
Okay.
Zazie, I think he likes her especially because she has this mother vibe. Hell yeah, Zazie. Hey, Syril and Dedra is my favorite like couple ever in Star Wars. So JoeJinMovieSoAwesome gives Andor episode 4 to 6 at 8. It was solid. But me and Won-Jin, we have to give the letter score for the whole season as well. Number grade. We haven't gotten there yet, but we still love this show.
Yep. So a certified 8 out of 10.
Hell yeah. So we're gonna take a 30-second break and come back to talk about Last of Us episode 3. Wait. And you said you want to keep the 10 for the end of it, remember? Yeah. Yeah, Dedra doesn't nag. Oh, Void gives a 7.5. Void agrees with me. But JoeJinMovieSoAwesome gives Andor episode 4 to 6 a solid 8. This has been JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
We'll see you guys in 30 seconds. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Turn off the lights.
Make ready the fleet. And make sure nothing gets off the system.
No, but you have to wonder. They probably don't even know about the Force, the ISB officers. And wait until they see Palpatine and Rise of the Skywalker.
They're gonna shit that white uniform they wear.
Yep. It's gonna be Diarrhea Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Diarrhea. Ooh.
See? Her name's Dedra. That's a foreshadow right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. She's Dedra, huh?
No, diarrhea.
Really? In diarrhea, Latin is Dedra?
No, it's not.
What is
I
that?
made that shit up.
Is Dedra diarrhea in French? So many Gormans